In a profession where men die young, one would be well advised to fear the old man. Hello, everyone. My name is Pestolents, and welcome to In the Bay. Today's feature was a special request from one of my favorite Twitch streamers, BaneFalcon. So, Bane, this gift is for you. The Crab CRB-27B is the SLDF Royals version of the Crab, which was in production concurrently with the Crab CRB-27. Although the SLDF version replaced its 16 single strength heat sinks with the Star League's double strength variety, it further modified the mech by upgrading its to BattleTech 1200 large lasers with the extended range version of the large laser that the SLDF used. These two ER large lasers were then backed up by the stock Series Arms medium laser and an Exostar small laser mounted in the head. The small laser, of course, was for anti-infantry use, but more often than not, it was a weapon of desperation used by the pilots themselves against other mechs. The Crab is originally supposed to be a sniper and fire support machine used to support medium lances and lighter heavy lances at ranges between 450 to 90 meters. Danger close from 90 to 0, of course, if absolutely necessary. But for a 50-ton machine, having all that long-range weaponry came at a cost of some questionably thin armor. However, if you replaced those two large lasers, or ER large lasers, with medium lasers, you could really stack the armor on. In fact, the Crab can mount more than its fair share of armor on such a relatively small chassis. So let's take a look at what I've done with the chassis myself. I've taken it from a direct fire support role to a brawler role by doing the following. 1. Dropping the two ER large lasers, of course, and replacing them with these Magna Manufacturing medium class medium lasers. These medium lasers have a heavier punch at ranges all the way out to 270 meters than any other medium laser counterpart. I further upgraded the firepower by taking advantage of its underutilized missile hardpoints in its left torso. I installed two two missile racks made by Valiant Manufacturing, one SRM-6 rack and one SRM-4 rack. This lopsided pairing allows you to fire the complete contents of a single ton of SRM ammunition in 10 combat rounds. Exactly. So there's no leftover missiles. You're not running out early. It's a nice round number. Outside of the chassis itself being lost tech from the SLDF, the only other lost tech you will find on this machine I have outfitted in the legs with its not one but two double heat sinks. These double heat sinks help keep the not insubstantial amount of heat generated by the 5 medium lasers and also subsequently 2 SRM racks in check. On an alpha strike, this mech will only generate 5 residual heat, which granted will slowly make the heat creep up, but it's not so much that you'll be cooking a pilot. Quite honestly, if on the third turn of fire, skip firing one of the medium lasers or the SRM-6, and you're going to be back to 0, or close to it at least. I further outfitted the mech with a upgraded comm suite and an upgraded gyroscope. The gyroscope gives you +3 hit defense against enemy fire. And the comm suite, at least in my own headcanon, is or has been upgraded from the standard military two-way radio. A +1 version comm system would be like an AM radio with like maybe an 8-track tape player. A +2 would be some decent speakers, an AM FM radio, and a CD player, single disc of course, that doesn't skip every single time the mech takes a step. This helps produce more resolve for your pilot. And in doing so, you can take advantage of those precision strikes that are so incredibly important, especially at the lower weight classes where you don't have the residual weaponry to just muscle your way through. I did, however, as I mentioned before, I did, however, go with a mismatched set of Valiant missile launchers, and that's because I wanted the extra heat sink to help bring the heat in line. For the SRM-6 generates 12 points of heat, the SRM-4 only generates 8. By dropping the single ton and also 2 missiles off the missile rack, I could put in an additional heat sink. Again, standard heat sink, of course, to help keep the heat in line at only 5 points per. If you want to be all matchy, you can go with 2 SRM-4 racks and then give yourself 2 additional single heat sinks or 2 additional double heat sinks to, further keep the mech cool. But I find that having the balance of firepower and heat buildup is important, but you need to keep that heat buildup under control. That being said, this is a medium range machine, 270 meters or less. Until you get into medium range, you need to stick to cover. Once you get into cover, pick your shots. Rip off the weapons cluster of the opposing enemy lance first. I like to pick on the Capellan version of the Thunderbolt because it has that nice big weapons cluster in the left torso. You see the 5SE Thunderbolt coming towards you, and it's coming into medium range where you can strike. Get yourself on the left-hand side of that mech, rip its left shoulder off, and then you knock most of the teeth out of it. So this mech has gone from direct fire support to precision striker. That being said, it does carry more armor than even most stock heavy mechs now. mostly to the lack of jump jets. But more importantly, though, it's still a medium mech. If it gets caught out by itself or focused on, it'll evaporate just like any other medium mech. So use your head, stay smart, and you will live to pilot your mech another day. That's my thoughts on the CRB-27B Crab. This one is the Pitherius pubis. And until next time, good hunting, mech warriors. If you like my content, please remember, subscribe. Or if you like this episode, why don't you give me a like? It really helps with the algorithm. Also, if you'd like to see my content as soon as it is released, please ring that bell icon for notifications. Until next time, I have been Pestolents.